Week 5, it's time to watch some football and it's time to make some money while watching it. Harrison Sanford, Aqib Talib, our producer Paul Aspen, joining us as he does on every Friday. We'll do best bets. We'll look inside DFS. We'll talk fantasy football. And you have to start, as we always do, with Survivor. And thankfully, my co-host and my producer did not listen to my pleas last week because somebody was on the Titans, I was, and they lost to the Jets. Thankfully, we picked the Buffalo Bills, who washed out the Houston Texans. So we're alive for Week 5 in Survivor. We have a number of options. Aqib, thank you for not listening to me last week.
Always.
So it's a group decision. People have veto power. So
you know what I'm saying? But this week,
all right.
Survivor.
This week, go ahead, Aqib. You got it. What do you think?
I think easy work, Patriots, Texans. Easy work.
So we're gonna go against the Texans. We've already used them for people who have not been following or have been.
Oh yeah.
In week 2, we went against the Texans with the Browns. Obviously, last week we went against the Texans with the Buffalo Bills. So you like this matchup with the Patriots after their loss to the Buccaneers, taking on the Texans. Paul, do you have any other options, any other things that were considered or put on the table?
I mean, the other options, if we're going to talk about that, would be Cowboys laying 7 at home against the Giants, but that's a divisional game.
Division game, you never know.
Right, Vikings laying 7.5 against the Lions.
And the Giants coming
at
off
home.
a big ass win. The Giants coming off that big ass win too. So
yep, another Vikings Lions, another divisional game. Bucks Dolphins. So Bucks.
I like that one too. That was my second option.
Favorites. It could be an interesting, weird, tricky spot with like the letdown after like all those emotions of the game Sunday night, but it'd be pretty tough to see the Dolphins.
We talking Tommy here, man.
Right.
Oh,
and
wow.
The Dolphins can't move the ball to save their lives. So
right.
But yeah, I think this might be the spot to take the Patriots. Now it's on the road. It's still a rookie quarterback. It's still on the road. So
but it's Bill versus a rookie quarterback.
But
you know what I'm saying? Who he in his own head. He's struggling right now.
Yeah.
And that defense played good against Tom, man. They stood up. They played a solid game against Tom. That offense played a solid game against that tough defense too, man. So I feel like the morale in that building is we lost, but we good. It's going to be a nice vibe all week, man. They'll go get a big win on the road. This is one of the ones they got to win. Bill go win these games right here.
Yeah.
Jets, Falcons in London. I think that's total stay away. Could be interesting.
London get crazy, bro. Hey, we don't know who going to be in London. I done been in London twice. I was Leave one time and Aqib the other time, man. So you don't know, bro. So we don't know what Zach gonna be on in London. He might have a night out. We don't know. So stay away from London games. I'm telling you.
We shall stay away from it. There is the Minnesota Vikings hosting the Detroit Lions. That's a divisional foe, but weak secondary for the Lions. Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, but the Lions again eager to get their first win. Packers Bengals interesting as well. So I think it's pretty much the easy pick, right, to go with the Patriots over the Texans. Am I wrong for saying that maybe
we'll survive with that one?
No, so are we no entertaining of any other situation?
I mean, we mentioned the Bucks and Dolphins. That's kind of the only other really one. I mean, Ravens at home against the Colts, but
the Colts is like that. You know, they two different teams too, right? They can come score 38, or they might come score 16. So we don't know what Colts team we're gonna get.
Yeah, so basically Bucks or Patriots, I think. And I think Patriots might be the move.
Okay,
Patriots, man, we'll survive with that one.
Okay, all right, and we'll move on, and we'll move on to next week, which is the most important thing when it comes to Survivor. And you have to imagine the Patriots not one of the best teams in the league. It's probably a lot easier.
Now, Harrison, don't panic when it's like a 6-point game at halftime. It might not be a blowout. It might be a little sweaty, but
it's definitely good. Yeah, I could see it now.
Don't panic, Harrison. We good.
Might be. I hope so. All right, before we go into our DFS stars and fantasy football stars for Week 5, I want to do a quick little Week 4 in review as we made some great calls, or Aqib made some great calls as we did our segment last week. Great call on Dawson Knox against Houston, had 2 touchdown receptions. But the one thing that we did miss on was Travis Kelce versus the Philadelphia Eagles, because Tyreek Hill took away all that shine. From anything that you saw so far, Aqib, what did you think of Travis Kelce's regular tight end performance and not a Travis Kelce-like performance?
Well, I mean, they play good defense on him. They They got guys who could cover, right? Eagles got guys who could cover. But it was just a week for Tyreek, man. It was just a week for Tyreek. He broke a lot of tackles, and he got behind them guys a couple times. So football happened like that. Sometimes they take you away. You the one who going ham. Tyreek been pretty quiet as of lately. You focus on Kelsey. As soon as you focus on Kelsey, that's when Tyreek do you like he did. So that's just what make the Chiefs so dangerous.
Yeah, and it had Darius Slay defending himself on Twitter later on that afternoon.
That's my guy
more
too.
Respect on his name. Yeah, Tyreek Hill is just a monster, man. He's built
monster,
like no other. Built like no other. All right, let's go into our DFS stars for Week 5. And last week, if you listened to us, for the most part, you did well. We can't help the Jimmy G injury. Shit happens, as they say. Let's go with Derrick Henry. We used Derrick Henry last week against those Jets. Now he goes against the Jags. Pretty much self-explanatory. He's expensive in DFS, but he's expensive for a reason. Damien Harris, though, Aqib, you liked him against the Houston Texans. I think that's pretty self-explanatory as well. The lead running back in a team for a team that should be winning there in Houston. Tom Brady versus the Dolphins is our star quarterback, decently priced across the industry. Joe Burrow could be an interesting tournament pick, though, for a lot of people in DFS. He's not going to be highly owned in cash lineups, but DFS tournaments could be very interesting. Why do you like Joe Burrow in this matchup, Aqib?
Because Jair Alexander got this shoulder, and if he's not out there with Chase, the Packers play so much man coverage, and they got so many weapons. They got 3 good receivers, right? If you don't got Jair on Chase to take away their best one, man, it's going to be a long day for them guys. So I expect a high-scoring game in Cincinnati, man. I expect it to be a shootout. No Jair Alexander. A lot of man coverage by the Packers. Burrow might have a day.
Yeah, definitely can go up because you also have to factor in Joe Mixon is expected to miss this game as well. And Samaje Perine is not necessarily the rushing running back that you would need, more of a pass catcher. A lot more attempts for Joe Burrow with Jamar Chase. Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins could go off indeed. Looking at the wide receiver position, players, star and non-star in great matchups. DeAndre Hopkins versus the San Francisco 49ers. Self-explanatory. He's going to get right at some point. Emmanuel Sanders, though.
Yes, sir.
Another player with a great matchup against that Kansas City defense. What do you like about Emmanuel here in that big-time Buffalo versus Kansas City matchup?
Another team who's going to play a lot of man, a lot of cover 3, single high. Once you start going vertical, cover 3, you playing man on the outside, right? So they're going to lean to Diggs. They're going to make sure they take Diggs away. That's what they did in the past when they played these guys. They make sure they handle Diggs. Somebody else got to beat us. And I think Emmanuel's starting to pick up, man. He's starting to pick up, get involved, score some touchdowns. He's starting to earn that trust from Josh Allen. So he a hard worker. I know he go to practice. He work hard. He make the quarterback trust him just how he work in practice, man. So as the season go on, you're going to start seeing Emmanuel Sanders more and more and more.
Yep, he was very popular on waiver wires over the past 2 weeks. He's getting a lot of targets.
He's been going
ham.
ham.
If you picked him up, good for you, because now you would have to trade something to get him, for sure. When we look at the tight end position before we get to our best bets, usually there's a starter pick, but there's a lot of star tight ends in very difficult matchups. Mark Andrews against the Indianapolis Colts. We got Travis Kelce against that Buffalo Bills secondary, which Aqib just ranked number 1 in his no-fly zone rankings. We got the Darren Waller from the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Chicago Bears, and you have as well George Kittle taking on the Arizona fast-moving secondary with players like Budda Baker back there and Isaiah Simmons. So it's not a good week to pay up at tight end in DFS. Find you, let me see.
Jonnu Smith.
Jonnu Smith. There we go. Jonnu Smith.
There you go.
The Houston Texans have been very poor against the tight end position. We just saw what Dawson Knox did. Seems relatively safe, and you're not going to spend all your bank trying to get him like you would for Travis Kelce, George Kittle, players of that like. So those are your fantasy stars for Week 5. And before we get out of here, you know what we do every week. We got to get to our best bets. Quick review. Browns won 14-7. Definitely won against that spread. And the Colts won 27-17. And I caught that Corey Davis touchdown catch. So I'm feeling pretty good about Week 4. Feeling pretty good about Week 5. My dumb ass called it, but didn't put a bet on it. Gotta move better than that. Aqib, before Paul, if you could start off with us, give me your best bet here for week number 5.
I like too much. So this is Friday, so I'm taking the Thursday night game. Taking the Rams 1.5 against the Seahawks. So it was either a great bet or a terrible bet. Don't know. But so I like a teaser. I'll start there. Minnesota Vikings 6-point teaser from 7.5 down to 1.5 at home against the Lions, and the Lions 7 down to 1. Vikings 7.5 down to 1.5 against the Lions. The Cowboys from 7 down to 1.
Oh yeah. So
against the Giants.
So we could do teasers. Teasers is part of our best bets.
Absolutely. Yeah. We can do
come
teasers.
on now. I do this. Oh yeah, we like.
What do we got?
Teaser. I like 3 games on these teasers, right? I like the Bucks at home -4.5. You tease that thing down to 4.5. I think the Bucks probably gonna cover the regular spread. You can get it down to 4.5, man. The Bucks, they'll win by a touchdown at home. No Tua, they'll handle them guys. The Patriots on the road, you tease that down to -3. Patriots will go win by 3. Last one, Cowboys, same like Paul. Cowboys at home, Cowboys -1. Tease them things, man. They're my 3 teasers. That's my 3 pick.
All right.
If we'll pull back the curtain a little bit, Aqib's been doing very well on teasers as we talked before we actually hit record. So now that you're getting that information, go ahead and use it and make you some change. My picks, hoping to go back-to-back weeks with some wins. I'm hoping the Jaguars get their first win of the season. We've seen all the controversy with Urban Meyer this week. The Jags, as Aqib pointed out, have played 2 really good quarters, just can't play a full game yet. If there's no Julio Jones, if there's no A.J. Brown, we might as well just put them into one name. If there's no Julio, if there's no A.J., I'm going with the Jacksonville Jaguars to get their first win of the season. Would be a deflating loss for the Tennessee Titans. And if that one turns out where one of those wide receivers are playing, I feel pretty safe and confident that the Chargers get the W with the under 49.5 against the Cleveland Browns. These 2 teams have shown that they're very good defensively. We saw what the Browns just did to the Minnesota Vikings this past week, and the Chargers, I think they held the Cowboys to 21 points at which essentially felt like a home game for the Cowboys.
17.
That Chargers defense solid. That Browns defense is solid. That under at 49.5 seems something that you have to hit. And I got the Chargers winning the game just because I think Justin Herbert is all that in a bag of chips, as they would say back in the day. But keep what you think.
I don't know, Harrison.
Last week, you didn't mess with me either.
Hey, Harrison, I don't know, baby. Hey, you keep riding with these Jags and these teams. I don't ride with them teams like that. If you don't got no wins, why you going to win for me? You know what I'm saying? I don't see how that's going to happen. So I stay away from them winless teams like that, man. But, hey, them your best bets, Harrison.
I'll put an ugly bet in there with you, Harrison. I'll take the
There you
Bengals.
go. Thank you.
I'll take the Bengals. I want to get 3.5. I see some 3s out there. It opened at 3.5. It's down to 3. But the Bengals getting 3. Would prefer to get 3.5 against the Packers. The Packers' run defense is terrible. Now I know Mixon is banged up, so I don't know if P. Ryan can carry the load there. But I like what Burrow is doing. Maybe a little backdoor cover at the end. But I think that could be a tricky spot for the Packers in Cincinnati.
I am hoping that Julio Jones or A.J. Brown, I'm hoping that one of them play so that doesn't go towards my best bets. See what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, oh, what? I might bet this, but I'm really not. It's like one of those. But I definitely
Out of my
Tuesday. It is Tuesday.
It is Tuesday.
Yeah.
So out of my 3 picks, though, I'm probably the most confident in Dallas -1 at home. That teaser, that 6-point teaser. Dallas -1 at home. They'll get that done for sure.
Yeah, I like
okay.
that.
We'll roll with that. I'm taking that under in that Chargers-Cleveland game. And Paul, remind me what you got again?
The Rams. I'll do the Vikings-Cowboys teaser. Vikings -1.5. Cowboys -1.
Bet.
Yeah, see, we could throw out hypotheticals, but we got to state our claim by the end of the show. So we're
you
all
got to
good.
stand on something, right?
We got to stand on something. Indeed. And that was a great week of shows here. Thanks again to Paul Aspen, our producer, Aqib Talib. You know how we do. And Thomas in the background. Wednesday's show, we got you all caught up with the NFL and previewed the week. Thursday, we got you all caught up with the Broncos. And Friday, we think we made you some money. Go invest it. We'll see you back next week. This is Harrison Sanford, Aqib Talib. Call to the booth. See you next time.